little after 9. We have a quorum, so we can get started. We have a light agenda, but a lot to talk about. First, any public comment? We have 2 people in the audience, but it doesn't seem like either Mary or John have public comment, and nobody online. Okay, so no public comment. And then we had the minutes, very in-depth minutes. Thank you. Yeah, it was a lot there. So, yeah, if anybody wants to make a motion.
The only correction I saw was, I think it was for for next meeting, at the very, very end, where it says next regular meeting, December 9th, should be January, right? Because this was done in December 9th.
No,
No?
today is December 9th.
Yeah.
So it was the last.
It was for the
the
last
last
Oh,
meeting.
I'm sorry. Sorry, retract. Motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Okay,
I've only
good.
had 2 sips of tea,
Yeah.
so
Got it. You want me to get you an espresso shot?
that would
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Anybody opposing or abstaining? Nope, okay. Okay, updates. I have to say again, Amanda, I appreciate so much your memo and the detail you go into. It's very helpful to know that we're not, there's things continue beyond us, and then and we're all extraordinarily grateful for you. But I wanted to call out Rich. I know that he spent a lot of time before our committee and talking about wastewater and the sewer, and I'm very appreciative that he's taken it to the next step, hiring the consultant and going to do this deeper dive and analysis. And just really wanted to extend our gratitude, if you can pass that on to him. And there's a lot of stuff in there. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to get into on Amanda's update. Nope, okay. Moving on, unless you have anything you want to verbally update us on. No? Yeah, okay. And special town meeting discussion. So last meeting, we went over, which was our first time going over the warrant articles and like being prepared for town meeting.
which was awesome.
So it was very nice, and I think everything that we were hoping would passed. So good job to the planning board for advancing that very courageous bylaw and then letting us all rally behind and get it across the finish line.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah.
That was a great win.
I think it was a great process, actually, in this particular case. I think there was a lot of input. There were a lot of changes made in response to that input. There were different positions on the board itself that hold things in, I think, a more moderate position in some cases, or more extreme in other cases. And in the end, Mary's laughing, she's in the audience and
Yeah.
also a part of planning board. I think it's going to be good.
Yep, but in the end, got to a good place, and now we'll see if anything comes of it. I've been hearing about some transactions happening with different parcels, so
Yeah.
be interesting to see where it goes, what happens. And it fit in line with our goals that we've had outlined, right, of like having more people downtown and being more pro-business and, say it again?
In pro-housing.
In pro-housing, yeah, exactly. So I do want to try to shift to what are like the next things that we're going to focus on as a committee so that we can help support business and support growth of business. So I know that over the next couple meetings, we'll have those discussions so we can start advancing some ideas and maybe bring back our goals, Amanda, and like look at what we had prioritized and see if there's what we can focus on or what other committees we could partner with. But first up is this economic development dashboard that we've started, I don't know, a year plus ago, and yeah,
That I
thankfully
started working
again,
on, yeah.
yeah, staff partnership to be able to compile all the data and bring in the intern. And the idea was that, we keep making these decisions and, implementing different strategies, and then is it getting us the outcome that we were hopeful, that we were hoping for? So, I don't know, some of it might be corollary, some of it might be, causality. So I don't know that we're going to be able to make true determination about what, but at least it's just information that helps us think about what we're doing from a broader perspective than just a one-off. So do you want to walk us through high level, or do people have questions?
Well, I do just want to, once again, acknowledge Kaylee Cordera, the intern, who not only did she work on this data dashboard, but she updated the planning board data dashboard that they had, I brought to the committee, I think about a year ago. And so we have handed that over to George for the planning board to do with it what they wish. And so she did a lot of hard work this summer, and just want to shout her out for that.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. It's really good baseline data to have, and I don't know if anyone noticed any sort of blips or anomalies, or nothing was super surprising. I don't think in terms of like a crazy change or anything like that.
No, it seems pretty much the same for the
Yeah.
past 20 years.
Yeah.
On what?
It's
The data dashboard, like, just looking at the numbers, they're pretty consistent.
In what department?
everything, in
Yeah, like
population
just yeah.
size and
That's not everything, but.
birth, no, I'm saying in this that we've seen here.
Oh, in the top one.
Yeah,
Okay.
birth
But
rate.
even down below on some of the business metrics, it seems pretty flat.
Well, the Outer Beach, after we got it open, started to make $1 million more a year.
Which one are you looking at? Where are you?
OSV program, I mean, if we're pointing out, everything is, I was on the select board when the chair was trying to tell me that we didn't make any extra money because we raised it $10, and I told him that it was because it was closed. And then we got that HCP program to get it open, and I said, once you do that, and now we're up, since that day, we were up over $100 per permit, and now we're making 2.493 million a year.
Wait, show me what
Where
you're
are
looking
you?
at,
Yeah,
Dave.
no.
Yeah,
Community asset utilization.
Sorry.
Okay.
Third to last page, if you follow that,
Beach admission
2003.
and ORV permits.
1.1 million in 2003, and then when we started seeing that closure, 2008, 3,524.
Yeah.
In 2009, under $1 million. 2010, we crept over.
And then now
2011, we stayed
1.5.
stagnant. And then if you follow that, it's staying pretty stagnant until we got that full opening.
Yeah.
That HCP really makes a difference. Now you're looking at, probably since we made that HCP, well over $1 million, actually, more
Mm-hmm.
revenue.
What's ACP?
Habitat Conservation Plan.
Oh.
It's the first ever conservation plan that gets us to drive by. We're the first in the world to be able to drive by endangered
plover.
species. It's an amazing, amazing accomplishment that other states are now calling us to have them right. Back when I was on the board, that was many moons ago.
Good old days.
They were asking, was it Nate back then? Yeah, Nate, they're asking Nate to help that write, in other states, and it's absolutely, the town of Orleans should be proud of what they accomplished.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
Well, I'm glad you pointed that out. I guess my question would be then, wait, that's for 2016.
So if you think about
It's a little
what,
confusing. the way
It is
it's laid out.
confusing, isn't it? Yeah.
if you think about that, that's $1 million more in that program. Think about how many cars you have to get to that $1 million. That's how many extra cars are going through. I know the residents of East Orleans aren't happy with what I'm saying, but if you think about the businesses down at that in East Orleans or in Orleans in general, even rental houses,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, how did it impact businesses?
if you think about it, it's got to be enormous. That's what are we charging? Let's say it's an out of state, an out of town. I don't know. I don't pay that. So.
I do.
Sorry.
I do. For 480?
I was gonna say 400, sorry.
Yeah, 440,
I'm not
somewhere
seeing
around
that
there.
in the, I'm
It's
not
over
seeing that
400.
reflected anywhere.
But like, $1 million, I said it, every single one of that we picked up was out of town, just to cut the number down of cars going to East Orleans. I mean, $1 million divided by 400, I could pull out a calculator, but that's a lot of cars,
So look at if you look at that 2016, it was 1.5, and then 2024, it's almost 2.5.
Those are
Yeah.
for the permits, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of
Yeah,
sticker sales.
town profit, but what
That's
has it
huge.
done for
I'm not seeing it translating into,
business? Yeah, that's what,
You got, think about how many more cars are coming to Orleans to
I know,
go on
but
the
I-
Outer Beach.
but if I look at, like the meal
taxes or,
tax receipts,
Oh.
where was that?
it's about $100,000 difference. Let's see, it was, well, let's see, in 2009, no, that's room tax. A little
I know this,
lost here.
And so,
I know,
really-
it's a lot to,
Actually, room tax, if you look at room
Oh, there it is.
taxes, it has gone from, 2009 looks like the first time we looked at this, 2005.
Where are you?
We're revenue
Revenues
and
and sales
sales
metrics.
metrics.
So it went from
Up to
209, if
subjects
I'm reading this
everywhere.
right, Dave, to 1,000,007. So you would see something there. Am I reading this right?
well,
I
there
have
was
no
also
idea.
there was a new tax introduced, so it's a little
Well,
bit,
If you
are
look
you
at
saying
the- if you look at
2009
the-
is 205, 787, okay.
And then if I
See what you're
go
looking
to
at.
2024, it looks like 1,000,007.
but look at meals tax, because that's been constant.
Meals tax went up a tiny, a little bit, but not a lot of it.
But the room tax also, that's a big, don't go to 2009, just go to 2019. 2019.
Yeah, that's where the things
Yeah.
started really moving. And what happened? Did we have a change?
I don't know.
Yeah, we had the short-term rental tax allowed to come in, so
In
it's, yeah,
2019.
so that's
Like
why you can't,
13% or
Gotcha.
something, right?
yeah, you can't really count.
Yeah. So it's
So
hard
it's gonna be
to,
You'd have to,
skewed-
you'd have
could be
to.
skewed either way, with or
Exactly.
without those permits.
Yeah, exactly,
Could be
yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, all right.
But the meals tax, maybe, or
meals tax did not
retail trade.
move too much.
retail, yeah.
yeah, unfortunately, sales tax data is just not, retail sales tax, it's not available.
Yeah.
It's not,
So if I go to like, if I go to Nauset, I'm gonna keep calling it Fancies, because I'm an old timer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I go to Nauset Farms, and I go to the deli, is that retail or is that meals tax?
It's meals.
It's meals? All right.
if you go to okay.
What's the,
No, I'm saying,
what's
like
the
on my way to the Outer
defining?
Beach, I grab a sandwich
Yeah,
and
yeah.
a drink, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm just wondering how that,
is counted.
yeah. 'Cause we would say that's retail, I mean, doesn't matter, but I'm saying on the other side, like, that's retail, that's not meals, you know what I mean? But fine, as long as that's being counted, that's.
Amanda, has there been any advanced conversation after the one we had with you?
No,
No.
no, I haven't heard from them at all, so.
I may
Yeah.
revisit that.
Roz is talking about, so we met with,
Commissioner Snyder.
yeah, to talk about potentially gaining the ability to look at more granulated sales tax data from the state, because right now they don't, the way we get meals tax and rooms tax data, because we get it back as a community, we don't get sales tax money back as a community, so we can't track it specifically to Orleans. And the state currently doesn't track it by town. But they have had a lot of requests for it, and so they were looking into it. So that was something, Roz was able to get us a meeting to talk about it. And, I mean, they said they're working on it, so,
It's been about a year.
yeah,
So I think I'll revisit that with them.
yeah. Because that would be really helpful
Yeah.
data to have.
What other data would be helpful for us?
Well, these were all of the data that we talked through, like these points were all the ones that we had developed. And the sales tax piece was the only one that we weren't able to track. So
Why is that?
Because the state
State
doesn't,
level,
they don't parse it out by
Limitation.
town.
Even with those freedom of information requests?
no, because it has nothing to do with that. They literally don't have the database for it.
Yeah.
Like, they have to build the database for it.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is
That's
strange.
archaic.
It is, so.
That's the state.
Don't get me
They were
started
They were
on
working
sales
on it,
tax
but
at
it's
all.
been a little while, so
I have to deal with it.
Amanda and I had a really good conversation
Yeah.
with the Commissioner, and they really want to do it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of priorities, so we can revisit that.
I guess it would be a lesser, metric potentially, because it would be voluntary assessment, but what if maybe the chamber and the town had a standard survey, simple survey that went to businesses in town that we have, and just ask for, not numbers, but changes, percentage changes, like from year to year, whatever, gross sales in this year and that year and that year. You have to compile that information for people like your insurance company and other things. So you don't want it to be onerous, and you don't want it to be personal and specific and trackable, but if people would just say, so that over time, everybody could see if there are broad changes. Of course, it's not gonna, each individual business has its own particular story to tell each year.
It's difficult in that, and I can tell you, in most businesses, it's gonna be tough because, you would say, oh, sales are up, money's up. But, I mean, if anybody's seen inflation.
Or cost of goods.
I'm just saying, like, what we were making in 2016,
Right.
you have the exact same people in the
Yes.
door, buying the exact same dishes and the exact same drinks and the exact
Right.
same amount of bowling.
just it's a
Inevitably
bigger number.
speaking, my sales are going to be up.
Right.
It's the amount of people in the door. Like, so this is the granular, talking with insurance
Yeah.
companies, I tell my insurance company that just because sales are up doesn't mean
Yeah.
I'm more of a
Yeah, we have the same
liability.
thing.
You know
It's
what I mean? I had the same amount of people in the door. We just
Yeah.
had to raise the price of food across the board,
Yeah,
So it's like,
yeah,
so that's, it's like,
Gotcha.
when you get
No.
into that, it's, if you want to get that real information and you need to get granular and be like, but then, how many people are actually entering in the proper, when it's July and it's raining and there's 2,000 people in the building,
Yeah.
like, the ticket says, how many people, and they're like, 5, don't even care, just, let's go, you know what I mean? So it's like, how accurate is your count?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough, but we could try.
Well, I guess looking at this, though, I don't
don't know.
see anything that's gonna help us determine if it's beneficial for businesses. Like, there's nothing in here that's about like the business profitability or number of people.
Well, if you look, but there are some concerning things. So if you look at, if I'm reading this right, Amanda, right, the net new business starts, I mean, you look
Yeah.
at, and it's only 2023 data available here, but it's like a -20.
Where's that one?
That's in business metrics.
Mhm.
So net new business starts, it's been positive mostly throughout the years. And then
Well,
we have a huge drop in
The discussion point on that, I would say, is we relatively flatlined as far as our year-round population. We swelled up to 67, I think, in 2004. And we are down to 64, according to 64 and change on 24. So I don't know, like, if your population's doing nothing but getting older and decreasing, I don't see there any chance at us really increasing business.
Well, you can see that, with the birth rate, it's only
Yeah.
0.42%, and the death rate is almost, 3 times that, 0.84.
It actually
almost,
is.
too. I mean,
Actually, wait, and I don't know what it is. At the 16 it was.
I mean, that's pretty, actually, that's 2016, so it's 0.36 is the birth rate, it's even lower.
Yeah, so you're like 4 times. The death rate's 4 times the
Yeah,
birth rate.
it's, which is pretty, it's all screaming at us that we need more families. Were we gonna collect number of kids enrolled
Yeah,
in
number of kids
schools?
enrolled.
I don't see that.
That was one of the key indicators. And it seems like really focusing on marketing to bring people into town, not just new residents, but visitors, restaurant goers, right? That's gotta be a part of the strategy is marketing to get people to come here.
Right. Curiosity, and everyone's got their own theories, but curiosity, just for discussion, what do you make of the seasonal population dropping
Yeah, I saw that too.
by 4,000?
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
know.
Well, the other crazy thing is if you look at the population compared to other towns, like, if you really want to get, well, I'm a Nauset kid, so it's like, we have the same population as Eastham, but they swelled to like 30,000. They significantly higher, like
Yeah.
Brewster has 10,000 year-round residents, and they swelled to 30 or 40. I didn't nerd out and bring my
Brewster's
statistics
10,000.
with me, but,
It's not much.
yeah, it is. Well, I mean, as of like 2 years ago, I mean, or a year ago,
I
but,
think I have that.
to me, is there to go through all the licenses and see where we're heavy and where we're light? Because it's like, it seems like we're flatlining on a lot of this stuff and going backwards in population. And,
Patient is flatlining.
and it's not a
that?
good thing for
Patient
business.
is flatlining.
Yeah.
Population and, every year we compete every year for number one at highest age median.
Yeah, so
We're in the
What-
argument every year.
Also,
the
I'm
numbers that Dave's referring to as of, is this 2024?
Yeah.
Orleans, 19,000, Brewster, 30,000, the
This is
seasonal
seasonal, yeah.
population. Eastham, 22.5, Wellfleet, 17, 37 in Harwich, and 30 in Chatham.
So we have the lowest.
We have the
Except for
lowest, except for Wellfleet, yeah.
In the Nauset, in this little area here.
Yeah, but we probably have a higher percentage of seasonal homes than the other towns, than Brewster and
But then,
Harwich, definitely.
our numbers would be
I know, that's.
higher.
The season
Or
numbers.
unless
are
it's
higher. We have
tourists.
seasonal
If we have
homes.
more seasonal homes, the numbers should be higher.
Well,
The
unless it's
seasonal-
unless it's tourists are in that 19,000,
Yeah.
then you have more people coming in and out.
Which would mean we'd have more.
Well, it
In,
wouldn't,
in the other town, if we had a higher seasonal households, they're not renting. There's no, it's a set number where another town, I'm just theorizing here, another town, they don't have as high, so they've got more people coming in and out as short-term renters.
Andrea, did you want to say something? Yeah.
I just, I'm sorry, and thank you. I just have a question as to how we got those numbers, because I know from planning board and the time I've been on the select board, every time we have this discussion with Chief McDonald, no, we are never fixed on a number. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at these numbers going, what are they based on?
Yeah, are they true?
Yeah,
Or any of them true. Any numbers that anyone gives. I mean, like, there's always a plus and minus. Like, okay, 2000 in, the population in 2004 was 6,797. We know that to be exact. You know what I mean? Like,
But-
you pull that.
but I'm sorry, Dave, with this one, it was a little tricky, because for instance, if you see the disparity between the rental registration and the short-term rental money we're getting from the state, it's big, it's huge, actually. And so, even when a great thing for the change, I don't know how we get this number, and
Where it comes from?
compared to Brewster particularly, where we both have pretty steady year-round population. Our competitors, as you were pointing out, on either side in Eastham or Wellfleet or what are the numbers, the real numbers in terms of, we have higher number of year-round residents?
And who?
No, no, we do not.
No, we do not.
No, we do not. According to Cape Cod Commission, and then I did a separate Google search, the year-round population as of 2 years ago was 6,200 in Orleans. Brewster was 10,000.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, you're right.
Eastham
They're
is
larger
5,700. Wellfleet is 3,500. Harwich
I'm-
is 12,000, and we are neck and neck with Chatham at 6,600.
Yeah, I misspoke. I mean percentage of total population
Yeah.
of
Say, it's not gross.
our year-round
It's
residents.
not numbers, it's
Yeah.
percentage.
Yeah,
They're
no, I'm
bigger.
sorry, just the percentage. That would affect some of our numbers about anticipating how many people are here for the summer that are guests, or how many people are year-rounders who are going in and out.
Right, so what we're saying is that more people are gonna help the businesses, whether they're living here year-round, or they're coming to visit, whether we're marketing for them, or we're trying to get them to
The
live
Cape
here.
Cod Commission, if you're gonna, I'm gonna listen to their numbers. That's, you know what I mean? That's what they're saying. I mean, if you come with different numbers, I'll listen to those, you know?
And
Explain to me the percentage. You want the percent, so the percentage, you want that percentage number for what purpose? I lost you in the, we're looking
So
at gross numbers where we're not in the lead, right?
Yeah, no, I think she's
So-
just trying to, like, explain,
Equating?
yeah, what,
I don't understand. That's,
I mean, every town doesn't have the same population.
Yeah.
Never has.
Right.
So you're not starting from every town being at 1,000 residents
Yeah.
year-round and 5,000 seasonally.
And
They've
and
all
our-
been
I'm
our
speaking from an
push-
economic driver standpoint.
different
Yeah.
numbers.
That's what
From,
I'm speaking.
the push for our purposes was that the more year-round population we have, the healthier our businesses will be.
right,
So, yeah, so that was it. It was like, let's keep
Yeah.
track of that year-round resident number, because the rest of it, from the data we've been getting, and there may be new data from the Cape Cod Commission, but this did come up when those statistics were presented by the Cape Cod Commission to the Select Board. You know, they weren't precise. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that,
Yeah.
keep your eye on the prize in terms of what are our economic goals.
well, I think year-round population is one that is more, we can define and is knowable. And trying to invest in marketing to get people to come here. That's something that we should be.
It's not just year-round, actually. It is seasonal, and those big numbers in Brewster and Eastham, and even Wellfleet, I think are
Chatham.
really interesting, because if we're gonna be the hub of the Lower Cape, then those are the, Brewster and Eastham at minimum are also our target audience for our businesses. They have businesses, we all work, flow back and forth, and, I don't know, I think those numbers are great, and it is seasonal. That's important, because that's when the most people are here, and you have the most potential for
Yeah, that's a good
making
point.
sales,
Like-
or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, it's a good benchmark for us
Yeah.
to be knowing what the surrounding towns are doing and how do we,
And then the rest of the Cape, there are certainly potential for Orleans to develop either businesses or events that draw people from all over the Cape and beyond the bridge, in fact. And we talk about, does that translate into increased businesses? And that's always been the challenge. There's just this assumption that if you bring more people, they see how cool you are, all you have to offer, then they're gonna come back and they're gonna work with your businesses one way or another. I mean, I know when we did Pops by the Sea, that was huge, and we would survey and find out on the weekend of Pops by the Sea, every business on Main Street in Hyannis would have a decrease in business, except for some of the restaurants after the event, because it was all people came, they did their thing, and then they left. But the idea also was, well, maybe they'll come back, because they'll see, look at all these restaurants, look at all these shops
Yeah.
we could come to.
Yeah, that's marketing.
And from that lens, it's interesting to just almost phrase the question differently in terms of, so why does Wellfleet and Eastham, which really doesn't have a downtown, it
No.
really doesn't have,
Commercial.
why do they have more seasonal business,
A bigger swell.
Yeah, why, compared to us, what is Wellfleet and Chatham's a whole different story, but what do these towns have
So-
that we don't have? What is it that we're missing?
don't know if it's
So
true,
here,
though.
I
I
don't
think
think
it's
it's
that.
seasonal business though, because I
Yeah.
bet you that the Eastham and the Brewster and the Wellfleet are doing a lot of their shopping in
Yeah,
Orleans, right?
exactly.
So the seasonal population, I believe it was explained to me, correct me if I'm wrong, are heads in beds, right? Not what they're doing.
Right, like where they're spending their
It's
dollars.
the seasonal population is where your head's going at night.
Yeah, that's how
Right.
that's how I understand it.
So then, those large populations, Brewster doesn't have a grocery store, right? Wellfleet doesn't, Eastham doesn't have a grocery store. Large capacity grocery stores.
People are still staying there.
But they're still staying there, and then they're coming into Orleans to do the majority of
And I guess my
their-
question is why?
Why?
My
Why
question
are they
is
staying there?
Why are they staying in Brewster versus Orleans?
The real estate's cheaper. The overnight,
Is it all?
Yeah, they
is it
bought.
cheaper?
yeah.
Hopefully,
But Wellfleet
Maybe
has a
not
small,
well.
and Chatham has a.
No, but over,
Maybe we can't compare ourselves to Chatham.
I don't know. If you look, do they have more hotels than we do? Like, what would be the,
Partly they do, I mean, both of them do.
Well, you're right. So Brewster has Ocean Edge, Harwich has Wequassett.
yeah.
Chatham,
Eastham
Chatham
has
Bars Inn.
4 Points, Chatham Pars Inn. I mean, that absolutely could be
Right, we
part
don't
of
have a
the-
hotel.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, is it a goal to get more seasonal people?
Seasonal people drive business downtown, right? So they drive, revenue for the town.
But,
You know, you have to play, your strategy has to be twofold, right? It has to be the seasonal, but then we really do want to focus also on the year-round.
Right.
Bringing it, how do we get more families in here? That's why we're so interested in the school data.
Well, and, so that wasn't one of the data points that you all had identified for us to track. It was the subsidized childcare program was the only one, but I can certainly get the school data for you. It might
Sure.
be in the,
It's right on
I
Cape
can
Cod
answer
Commission
the-
database.
Yeah.
I saw it the other day.
I can answer the question of, do we want more seasonal? And that's absolutely.
What's that?
Say it
We
again.
absolutely want more seasonal business.
Yeah.
My cannabis partner owns the 6 largest liquor stores on Cape Cod, and he says that's when, July, August is when the elephants are here. You better bring your peanuts. And and he's right, because you're gonna make, on a night in July, on a Monday in July, you're gonna make 3 times the money you're gonna make on a Monday in January. And that's real profit margin wise, that's all across the board. So
where the business
I would say you absolutely,
But
I get
think-
every bit of business every day of the year. I don't care if it's on season or off season. It should always be, I drive more business to that downtown.
Yes, but they don't have to live here. You definitely want to be marketing, and there's low-hanging fruit. Brewster and Eastham, we're one big town, really. And you could even pull from Wellfleet. Harwich kind of has its own, and Dennis kind of go the other way a little bit. I think that's our market area for seasonal and year-round, actually. And people are coming in that if we want to draw people to our businesses and draw people to the town as a place to visit when they're here, we can turn our attention to the kinds of things that would do that, both with I wanted to ask about the branding and marketing campaign that it's part of the economic development report, that markets to our neighbors, to the entire Cape, and then off Cape, too.
So one question I have is, I know early in our tenure, we were talking about, and we even have tracked here, how many new businesses have started. But it seems like it's not new businesses that really we should be focusing on. It feels more like helping the existing businesses and by bringing more people in. Like retail, if there's more people coming here, then new businesses will start, right? But if we focus on the core now and bringing people in through residential changes, bylaw changes, marketing, whatever we can kind of come up with. And the chamber's certainly done a great job of the past year of bringing people to the town, having events and activities to bring people to the town, amplifying that. maybe that's the focus for 2026 again, is really trying to amplify that and bringing people in. I know we had talked about like, what's the permitting process so that people can open a business and start more businesses? I'm not sure that it's a question. I mean, you need both, but it seems like that will be a likely outcome if the businesses that are here are successful. Is that a true assumption? In terms of like our goals and things that we're focusing on and talking about?
Can I ask another
Yeah.
question about that? Because in past reports, we've also heard that the town's capacity, any city or town's capacity to affect infrastructure or wayfinding or, to provide the setting for. So
Yeah,
what
parking.
is your recommendation? I think the select board is hungry for your recommendation on that priority list about where we should be investing. Is it, and how many different buckets do you see as effective for that return on investment, including hardscape, cultural, the cultural economy, events, as you were talking about, all of it. And so,
Yeah,
and-
parking, yeah.
parking, wayfind, so I'm thinking ahead to Springtown meeting.
Yeah.
And your recommendations about where we invest are going to be critical to what's on the warrant, I think.
Yeah,
Well, what businesses are we trying to attract? That's another thing.
And also, do we provide an incubator, a business incubator? We have partners in terms of, they'll help with business plans, the CDP I'm thinking of in terms of what resources come for businesses, but what do we do and what are we encouraging? For instance, is part of the reason that we don't have year-round businesses, we talked about this on the planning board, I think, when Debbie and I were there at the same time. If you start with a food truck, because it's a lot easier than starting with bricks and mortar, how do we wean fledgling businesses to stability? And are we going to invest, for instance, in a showcase for local business? Because, that's the local return on dollars. So a mini Faneuil Hall, as we talked about years and years ago, to showcase local,
Yeah.
what we're known
Makers.
for. Whatever.
right.
But those are the kind of incubator ideas that go right back into the economic development plan and your advice as the think tank about business, about where we should be investing. Yeah.
You want to say something, Dave? Can I just add real quick? I think that from my standpoint, that would be really interesting is for us to identify 3 to 5 towns that we think are very successful and that are good for business and good for tourism, and maybe study what policies they have in place. Like, people have already done this. We can sit here and make everything up we want, but it seems like there's places that have already kind of done it. And what policies do they have in place to support businesses, to support restaurants, to market? And what policies should we consider?
Here's your opinion on all of this, Judy.
I-
from what
and I
Andrea
wouldn't-
said.
I like that. I wouldn't stay on Cape Cod.
Yeah.
For it. I think Wellfleet does a great job with the Mayo Mondays. So they have a makers market on Mayo Beach on Mondays in Wellfleet, right? And that's where Clark, Judy from Trove and I got together and I said, can we do this? And that's where Outermost Friday blossomed from, right? Trying to make sure that we are throwing events with people that are DBAs at home or makers at home, that we're encouraging people to come and support them, right? Interesting enough, this past, not Santa Stampede, but the week before, I had lots of people came to me and said, never been to Orleans before, came to Outermost Roots and Blues.
Wow. Never been to Orleans before.
Saw that. We had other events going on for the holiday season and came down and they were just like, this is This is a really cool town.
But that's normal,
Right.
though. I mean, if you really think about it, everyone,
New people.
everyone gets stuck in their, like, I know you're saying marketing to other towns, but I mean, realistically, like, I know I'm growing up here it's every October the locals come back. Every June, I feel like, what did I do wrong? Like, the locals are coming in. And then, like, October rolls around, like, whoa, I don't know what just happened. But we're back, dude. It's great. And, like, you get in Wellfleet, like, they don't leave Wellfleet. Those people, they don't leave until November. That's just like every November, it's like, boom, the whole town of Wellfleet comes in. You're like, oh, hey, where you guys been? Like, oh, everything's closed. So, and that's how we get them. I mean,
Hopefully it does close.
yeah, it's so then the people that want to go out, they'll go out and they come to Orleans sometimes, and it's great. But, I mean, I can't remember what you were saying, but I had something on that.
Did a bumblebee just go by?
Yeah,
Okay. One-
and, no, it's just, it's definitely something I would like to look into.
Yeah.
I just wanted to build on that, because I think looking at, you want people to come to the town, you have to have a certain mix. There's certain realities that exist that we have to work around or look at ways of building on, like, I'll say, for instance, and I don't even know if this is still the case, because in the olden days, there were major tour groups that would bring, and I knew those people at the chamber, and I tried to work with them to put Orleans on the map, because they literally drive through Orleans and don't stop. And it was like, why? We have a parking lot, why won't you stop? And they had very specific reasons why they didn't stop and why it didn't work for them. So maybe, you probably know this already, but maybe if we explore some of those reasons, there might be ways of working with those folks and getting more people.
yeah.
The other thing
They
is,
want a contract and they want money,
yeah,
okay? And
Well-
we have small businesses that are not going to put in money in that pot for a bus to come through town, right? There's a couple of bus companies that have specific places that they stop, that they're welcome to. Cook's. Cook's is
Yeah.
famous for it, right? Jimmy does a
Right.
great job. But it's years and years of the family owning Cook's and the reputation that I don't think he gets caught in the contractual area of it. But I think it's very hard for Cape Cod Chamber to go be marketing Cape Cod. They're not coming to Orleans. We don't have a place for a busload of people to stay.
right.
We just,
stay?
to stay. We just don't.
To stay like overnight
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about
And you gotta-
overnight. The day trips, I'm
You're
talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway, the details of it,
Yeah.
you know, I hate to say, you know, it's insurmountable. It isn't. But the other piece is that years ago, Orleans had major events on the middle school lawn every single day, almost. The Artisans Guild and other craft shows and antique shows. There was always something going on. There were pop-up art. I only know about the art stuff, but the art groups that would set up tents in front of what's now Santander or over by Depot Square now. There was always something happening, and all of that disappeared. It's very sad. And part of it is the Artisans Guild actually disbanded. And so, okay, and apparently, the regular touring craft show thing is not happening so much, but I haven't delved into it. Maybe that created a center of activity in this town that people were always coming here, and then they go out for lunch, or they go to the grocery store, or whatever they do when they come to Orleans. And it was lively and alive, and maybe you've got it going now on the Village Green with, you know, that, the Friday night outermost thing. But I think if we can do a regular thing that, because it takes time to catch hold, for sure. Maybe that's the kind of thing we can be looking at as we, go forward. How do we draw people to Orleans?
And I think the First Fridays is a good first step, but
Yes.
it still hasn't quite caught
Yeah.
the momentum that I would like it to see have, right?
Because some of that, again, is the reality of, like where I work, do you want to be part of First Fridays? Well, we don't really have anything to offer for First Fridays. We're not a fun retail shop. It's just not what it is. It's an office. And there are other kinds of businesses like that in our downtown. Do we have enough? There's some, for sure, but what you're looking for is that retail thing or opportunities with temporary pop-up shops or that sort of thing, right? For people to come and buy stuff and look at cool stuff.
Mary wants to say something.
Madam Chair, thank you. Mary Wright, 83 Main Street. I am so impressed with the magnitude of ideas, but they're ranging from A to Z. So I hope whoever's taking notes is going to do a good job of putting those
AI
into good buckets, because I can see there's so much going on. Let me just speak from the planning board's perspective in putting together a comprehensive plan, because I think you started off with some of the conversations around goals and where you want to go and what you're trying to push. And I really would encourage you, as part of this discussion, to be sure that you are looking at what it is that you see that's in the comprehensive plan, how you contribute to that and to the pieces of that which will make it possible for Orleans to move forward. So I'm thinking about, certainly from the economic development standpoint, is your driver, really talking about increasing the year-round population? Is that one of the things you really want to do? And if that's true, then I would encourage you to be sure you have told the planning board that you think that is really important, because we are at the process of putting those final things together and putting together the executive summary, where we're going to have to put some of those bigger pieces into sort of the challenge to the town. So I would encourage you to think about, what is that challenge you have to the town that you are going to contribute to, right, in terms of moving that forward, but that you see that as part of what makes Orleans 2050 possible.
Yeah.
Because I think that, you brought up, certainly all the things around, you didn't, I'm sort of impressed, the word housing didn't come up tonight, or so far this morning, but that's obviously key.
We already did that one.
Right, you bludgeoned that one. But I'm just saying, I think that it's really important, as you put together your goals, to be sure that that really aligns, so that to your point about, what's the connectivity that has to take place in order for you to achieve your goals. So is that, thinking about all the other the natural systems, Pete, that we're talking about, what about the community systems that we're talking about? Where are those investments taking place that you see are critical to making your committee goals possible? So I would urge you to think about that, because I think it'll help you achieve your goals if you've got more than just you working on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And housing has always been to the center of every conversation, and
I was
Yeah.
laughing because it didn't come.
Yeah, I know, but as I'm sitting here listening to this range of ideas, I'm like, all right, we have to, put this in the crucible and synthesize this into, three
100%.
things that we want to do, right? And, I mean, for me, and I'll throw one out that I think is really important, and it all unfortunately is dependent on affordability in housing, but, is increasing our families. I think
Yeah.
this data screams that we need more youth here. It
Yeah.
screams that we need a younger population. It screams that for the viability of this town, we need to have, the pipeline. We don't have a pipeline right now.
Yeah.
And you see it in the death rate, you see it, it's a very, very old town. So how do we increase our youth population by helping families figure out a foothold here, that this isn't a scary place to be, that it's a friendly place, it's a great place to raise your kids, it's a gorgeous place. And oh, by the way, housing. How we
Yeah.
can help them with housing. I mean, I think for me that's got to be a priority. I think almost in every town here in Cape Cod, because Cape Cod is aging very quickly.
Just to comment on that, Elizabeth Jenkins did send out information about the fair household mix. So that's the development off of West Road. And there were total 62 units, and additionally, between, so children under 17 and under, there were 22 kids.
Great,
Yeah.
Super.
So that's, part of the,
that's great, and that's what we need. We need a lot more of that.
yeah. And 18 to 39 was 27.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, families, housing, I think
Because our
Wi-Fi connectivity, we've got to keep as it's a huge economic driver. Somehow that's got to come into our,
Yeah,
Yeah, on Small
Well-
Business Saturday, when I was here and shopping at Homegrown, she was having trouble with her internet.
Yeah.
And that right there is like
that's a
problem.
killer right there.
yeah, and with families will come other needs. There'll be needs for, childcare, there'll be needs for more fun things for kids to do. I mean, right now, we do have the Cape Cod Museum in Brewster, but there's not a center of things to do here for kids, in Orleans. We have a mediocre playground, which I know is getting fixed.
Lots of works in progress.
So we have some things in progress, but if I'm the mother of young children, toddlers, am I thinking that Orleans is a good place to raise a child? Probably, but what is there to do? What is there to do? Where can I take my kids? Take them bowling, I mean, that, on a.
Take them
Love that.
fishing, you can take them shellfishing,
Yeah.
you can take them to the outer beach, there's a lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah,
The
there's a-
problem,
But in
I'm
the
gonna
win-
say
But in
it.
the winter, right, you need some indoor activities.
I'm just gonna tell you
too.
what, yeah,
Yeah.
of course, but one of the biggest problems that Orleans has is it's not fun. We've been killing fun for years and years.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You are now playing catch-up.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
I know, I believe
I
you.
have a lot, I grew up here. I have a lot of friends, and unfortunately, we are at the age where we are losing our parents. That's just what's happening and part of life. And I can't tell you, in the last 4 years, I've had 5 different friends inherit a house in Orleans. Literally, inherit a house and a chunk of change in Orleans, and the first thing they do is put it on the market. And I'm like, dude, and they're not doing anything special in their life where they need to keep their job wherever. They're like, dude, there's nothing to do there. There's no fun.
It's no fun.
You guys, I'm like, I tried to put a shed in my dad's house. The misery of trying to put a shed in the backyard. And like, I'm gonna go somewhere where they want my business. I'm gonna go somewhere where I don't have to fight to do every little thing. Like, you wanna talk about opening new businesses, why are we down 20? Have you ever tried to open a business in Orleans? It's a great time.
And in fairness, I do believe that the business department, if that's what it's,
Ombudsman.
is working to improve that.
I-
The very first conversation I had as executive director of the Orleans Chamber was with Mike Salitro, saying, you gotta make it easier. It has to be a one-page piece of paper that someone walks in and says, I wanna open a business in Orleans.
And
And here you go.
Oh.
And Mike said, and I think Amanda's on the same page, Elizabeth's on the same page, that's what they're working towards. It's not gonna happen overnight.
Yep, and
But
I
they
just.
are, I have to.
So
believe
this
they're
is what
working
you're dealing
together.
with right now? I'm just telling you that I am currently trying to open my dispensary 1 extra hour a day. And the amount,
Open 24 hours already.
no, could you imagine if I asked Orleans if I could open 24 hours a day? That would be amazing. How long is it taking me, and how much paperwork am I doing for 1 hour to open my business?
Really?
Every other dispensary is open at 8 o'clock, and 8 a.m., and it's like, it's just funny. I just sit in George Missouri's office, and we're trying to figure out. He's saying I have to fill this out. Amanda went to war for me. It's like, no, he's not filling that out. And if you remember that exercise, and it's just, I'm just sitting back there looking at, cracking my wisecracks like I always do. I'm like, wow, you guys are making business fun again. It's literally like, but we can all sit here and laugh, but that's what's going on. And I've been banging this drum for, oh God, I don't even want to say it, over 12 years now.
But is it a problem that, and I don't mean to, I'm really asking this for me, is it a problem that we don't have enough businesses, or is it a problem that we don't have enough people for the businesses? Should we be focusing on the regulatory environment? Yes, that's an important piece, and you guys are working on that. But for this body, should we be focused on the regulatory environment? And maybe it's not an or, but to me, it feels like we should be focusing on the marketing and bring the rising tide, bringing more people in.
I mean, in some sectors, we have too many businesses in some sectors.
Right. That's what I mean. It's
Do we
like,
have businesses knocking down our doors to open here in Orleans?
There's nowhere to open,
What's that?
no space.
there's no space.
It's desirable.
Well, it looks like
There
we
are
have
people who
20
are
new
very
spaces.
interested in Orleans, but if they look at, I'm helping a couple of businesses that are in Orleans already, trying to find other space, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah, those are some of those hard realities of our physical environment.
Yeah.
Like I mean, even when we say we have empty spaces, even if you do, they're not good spaces. That's why they're empty,
Yeah.
not because they're,
Well, that's why your pop-up
wants them.
idea is a good idea, where it's not based on infrastructure and building, but there's attracting people and businesses. So, I think,
can I just
Yeah,
point one
please.
thing out before I forget, which could happen quickly? Is that, we have an economic development report, and that's what is in the comprehensive plan as the economic development strategy. And that report was done not very long ago, and then this committee was formed. That report includes lots of different recommendations covering the waterfront as we're discussing now, which the committee, with Amanda's great work, has been tackling kind of
pieces.
as much as focus can allow, and then letting things work their way through. And I think that's where we are. And there are lots of different ways of attacking this issue, because economic development is probably the broadest category there is.
Yeah.
Everything, it underpins everything else. So I think we don't, as we decide which one to tackle
Yeah.
this coming year, that doesn't discount the other things that have already been set in motion that we'll keep tracking and
Correct.
keep working on, right?
Right.
And I just don't, I don't know, I just wanted to raise that point, that it's not that we're working in any vacuum at all. We have a pretty clear roadmap for ourselves in that really quite excellent report that was done.
Yep.
And anyway. I just
Are you,
wanted to
are
say
you
that.
saying that in response to Mary's comments, or what is making?
A little bit.
Yeah, okay.
A little bit.
I'm just trying to
because
figure out where we're going.
As we're talking about these other things, I just wanted to put it in that broader context, that we are working in a broader context. We
Yeah.
have very specific goals and areas. They are not identical. It's not a Roman numeral 1, A, B, C, D. It's Roman numeral 1, 2, 3, 4, and A, B, C, Ds under each of those.
Yeah,
And I think we've been pretty good at trying to work, or we're continuing to try to work through that broad.
yeah, I mean, like, the wastewater was a big piece,
Right.
and now we have Rich doing this analysis. Housing and
huge.
was huge, and planning board took the lead on that. We amplified it and helped. The chamber, because of, Judy's good work, has really been bringing people to town and setting up the infrastructure for events and marketing. So yeah, this is a time to kind of go back and take stock of what we've accomplished, where do we want to focus our time, this data that we had wanted to use to track our decision-making is, finally done and in a point where we could analyze it. I think it would be worthwhile at the next meeting to look at our plan and the focus that we had. We had identified, I think, 6 or 7 different areas, and see, are those still the areas that we want to stay on our radar? Do we want to reprioritize, knowing, some of these things that have been accomplished? I still think looking at other towns, off Cape or wherever, would be helpful to know what policies are in place, what they've done, how they grew their population, how they marketed, how they supported their businesses. I think that, to me, that would be really helpful.
I'm stuck on Dave's question, though.
Yeah.
I'm really stuck on your question of,
Which one? I had 100 of them.
About the fun factor.
Yeah. Oh, the fun's fun.
I'm really,
Oh, yeah.
I'm really stuck on that one, because I don't consider Orleans fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there is a lot we can do you know, in the natural environment, right? Where you want to go swimming, you want to go to the lakes. I think, you know, you can make your own fun that way. But, you know, I was up in upstate New York over the weekend for graduation, and, you know, a little town called Geneva, New York, right next to Seneca Falls, and it's population of probably about 13,000, so they're double our size. But it's very much a blue-collar town. It's very out there. I mean, it's very far away. And, you know, so a lot of businesses are closed downtown, but it was a fun town. And I was like, what made it fun? So I've been thinking about, what is that?
That's their age median.
I really want to go. It's younger than here,
Right, probably.
younger.
Yeah.
Not by much, though. I mean, it's a mixed town. It has a college in it. Has a couple of colleges. I think
Okay,
that
well,
makes-
that'll do
That
it.
makes that makes a huge difference, right? But they had like a speakeasy. They have a couple of different wine bars. They have places where you can go listen to music. They have just funky little businesses.
We have all that.
That make it, you know, also it's galleries. I mean, there are art, and we have galleries. I mean, it's very much an artist community, and artists do bring fun. I mean, I think artists bring fun things to a community. But being able to, like, be in upstate New York, go to a speakeasy, I mean, it's like, wouldn't that be fun? Like, if to have something like that in Orleans, that it's a destination, it's a place for, but I think I'm gonna get stuck on this one for a little bit, Dave, and how, you know, how do you make Orleans fun? I mean, how
It'd
do
be
you-
2026, make Orleans fun
I mean,
again.
how do you, maybe not again, but let's just say fun.
Fun.
Oh, it was fun for a while,
I used to have
for a
fun.
long time.
Yeah.
MOFA. Make-
Mofa.
Make Orleans
Fun
fun
again.
again.
MOFA, I like that.
I think there's something there, and if you want
Yeah.
to attract young families and young people, even if they don't have kids, I mean, they're just young people to town, they're gonna wanna have some fun, and they're not gonna always wanna drive to it.
I mean, what did Mike McNamara tell us about that couple he went out with, and he's like, why aren't we attracting those people?
Yeah.
And that's the question that I don't think that, it's been extremely frustrating, being at this for 14 years, being like, you want to attract young families, and I'm like the dude in the room with a 4-year-old, and no one wants to listen. It's like, all right, cool, well, you know what I mean? Well, if you don't want to listen to the only guy in the room that has a child, like, you got 2 dudes sitting right here every single meeting,
Yep.
and we're trying to feed you information, and it's sometimes a lot of people are just stuck with their blinders, and they say, this is what I want this, and they're not, but we gotta listen to everybody at the
In
table.
all fairness, don't you think it's gotten better, though? The listening part? No? Okay.
Nope.
Come on.
Come
on,
Yeah.
I'm saying, we can, you know, what's more important in the world, words or actions? Because you can say whatever you want to say, but your action speaks a whole lot louder than what you're telling me.
And I guess that's where we're stuck right now, right? Like, we kind of know, but we don't know what to do.
Everybody
And
wants
also,
change.
the town has a limited role in the end. It's the town government that can set, you know, infrastructure, regulation, encourage in some ways, but the town, well, I guess I shouldn't say this, because maybe the town could, you know, isn't going to build an amusement center for children in the middle of the town. You know, somebody else has to do that. So what can the town specifically be doing?
Yeah, that's the regulatory
And that's our
environment.
question.
Do you have suggestions?
But it's
Dave?
beyond
You
that,
said, you know,
beyond the
you're
regulatory.
gonna listen, so do you have
have a plan.
suggestions?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's another time, you know, I think we should have another.
That's what
you know,
we-
like, I'm not really just gonna fire in an hour and 10 minutes in, you know what I mean, like, but yeah, definitely.
I think we should have it on the agenda for next time, you know, keep talking about this.
All right.
And
I had a conversation with Dave, and this was before, this was before the Department of Rec had their reincarnation
Oh, that was
of
good.
Tom and his crew. But Dave was saying there's simple things that kids on Cape Cod need to learn how to do, okay? And the rec department has the capability and the infrastructure to make that happen. They're already doing swimming, right? So, can you do sailing? Can you tell me how to go dig for clams? Can you tell me how to bait a hook? Can you, taking everything around us, Dave's like, show them what happens in the water. And I was like, that's really
Yeah.
We got a bunch of,
I think their adults would do that.
no, I know, I'm saying we have a bunch of Cape Codders that aren't salty. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, wow, man, like, we went and dug, Marion every single year for a party. We go out and well, now I'm making her dig them, but, when they're little, you make them dig with their feet, just so you know. And we go get our quahogs, we smoke them, and then we make smoked stuffies, and everyone thinks Marion's the coolest Cape Cod kid. I'm like, yeah, every kid on Cape Cod should be doing this. Like, this is
It
crazy.
should be every birthday party.
Yeah, it should be like, you're not allowed to graduate elementary school unless you can like go
Forget
dig a
about the
clam
exotic
and, like,
animals, we need to do that.
Exactly. Go back to the
We
basics.
used to have an animal farm, remember that? The petting zoo?
That's an
Acid.
animal farm.
I loved it.
I got licked by a donkey.
No, I mean, you can't, like you can't.
Whoa.
I'm saying, okay, like, where can you ride? When I was little,
You could ride the little train thing at the Purple Story Land at Stop
Or
and
like,
Shop.
how about like going down to the sand pit and riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers? Like, that's what Cape Cod used to be. And that's when we were like, oh, man, like, it was rad. And now,
It's too much noise.
there you go.
Go back to the
There's the attitude.
simpler
There's the
times.
Orleans attitude that I'm talking about. It's like,
Yeah.
it's too
I
much.
don't have that attitude.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
but it's
like,
out-
Just
yeah.
reporting it.
no, I mean, like, I across the street from my house, there's all this conservation land, and you can hear those little cycles. And I'm like, man, if you guys just put a 4-cycle, you won't get the cops called on you. But I personally smile every time I hear that. I'm like, God, at least somebody's enjoying the wood.
All this nature,
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's like,
all this open space.
keep I say at every single meeting that, and here's a little tidbit. Every single meeting, I tell you about the governor from Charleston, South Carolina, that says they kept taking these little things away, and then all the people that moved down there and infiltrated their town wanted to get rid of the tour trolleys. They're annoying. They're annoying. And the guy was just sat there and he keeps saying, if you guys keep losing these little bits of our neighborhood, we lose the fabric and the meaning of Charleston,
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And it's like, we have done, for so long, Orleans has not put a value on the importance of what, like, what was it, 2-3, I'm not lying, 2-3 years ago, there was a ballot John Fuller is trying to stop landscape trailers from being parked on the side of the road. Okay, well, who's gonna get their lawn mowed?
Exactly.
And then we have a ballot on there 2 or 3 years ago of no lobster traps in your front yard. Do you know how many people come to Orleans like, oh man, look at all those lobster traps. That's a lobsterman. Like, I mean, like, okay, where's this guy gonna store his lobster traps? Like, we are now, like, are we bougie or are we a fishing village? Like, we gotta figure that out.
It's true.
And I gotta tell you what, bougie isn't fun.
No,
Never has been.
She's not
It's
fun.
never been fun. It's cool, I'm not saying, but it isn't fun.
No,
All right, we
no, okay,
we're-
yeah,
we're
we're there,
rambling
we're
at this
way
point.
down the
No,
path here.
it's real, it's fun.
No, I know.
But
I'm
to
not
be
saying
fair,
you're-
I could listen to him riff all day long.
I know. We'll have to
it's
go
a
to the
fun
bowling alley
direction.
later and, do it over a beer. But I think that this is just the first conversation we have. We'll come back to the next, when is our next meeting?
January, second Tuesday in January.
Let's just make sure that that's gonna work. January 13th, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay,
January 13th?
yeah.
And I'll start a new calendar invite. I think the one that was circulating before it reached its limit. So I'll start a new one, so keep your eye out for that.
Okay. And if there's anything you want on the agenda for January in regards to this topic, let me know, let Amanda
Where
know.
all the licenses, and like where we're heavy, where we're light, and all that stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking, on the data, that would be, I don't know if this is knowable, but one thing a business metric I'm wondering to track are licenses. I don't know if we have to go back to 2003, but is there a way to go back in any time and see, has that changed over time? I think licenses, school, like liquor
population.
license, school population. Anything else in terms of, I felt like there was a third thing that we were talking about.
This is awesome information.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like, what a great start.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
See it.
Oh, I know.
And test some of your theories.
Once
Yeah.
I,
It's different than talking.
yeah.
When you see something, it's, for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah,
it's just amazing.
And once there's a economic development website that's separate, that has its own, this will live there. So
Nice.
it'll be available to,
And you can see how it can grow over time. You
Yeah.
can see, like, but this, what a
yeah,
heck of a start.
yeah.
so the third piece of data that I was thinking, Amanda, is can we figure out the ratio of year-round versus seasonal housing? I know,
I mean, the percentage.
yeah, the percentage, but of the
Year-round
housing. So the population size, when it says seasonal, that's different than I'm talking about, like the housing units.
Right.
Andrea, I feel like it's 54% year-round? Is that?
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought
like,
it-
go back in time
Yeah.
like 10 years. Is there a way to like go back a couple years and see like when it
Okay.
started changing?
Yeah, we've got those benchmarks.
Yeah, just because we don't want it to we want to try to stay where we are or,
Right.
get more increased year-round housing. But I'm thinking like the liquor licenses and any kind of like licensure data that we could use to give us an indicator of what's happening with businesses, the year-round versus seasonal housing inventory, number of school-age kids.
And the only other thing I had was, I'm not a scientist, so in the water quality data, that was a little meaningless to me.
Yeah, I had to go through a whole training with the Cape Cod
Because
Commission
I
on
have
how to
no
understand it,
idea.
so.
I have no
Yeah.
idea if our phosphorus levels or our nitrogen, if those are good numbers, bad numbers. I have no
We
idea.
just spent 200 million on a sewer system, so I'm pretty sure they're bad.
Yeah, but I don't know, but I mean, they look little, they look low, it's like 0.01 and
Well,
0.02.
don't say that now. We just invested.
I just don't
To
know what
clean
it
up.
means. I just don't know what that means. So maybe having is there a way to have like a legend or something to say, 0.1 is bad, 0.5 is good, or
Wastewater,
the opposite?
Mary?
Or
We can certainly get you that information from the water department. What I can tell you is that Orleans Water continues to be ranked as the finest, some of the finest in Massachusetts. And they've stopped giving us the awards because we keep getting them all the time. So.
The drinking water?
Well, that's
The
drinking
drinking
water,
water,
right?
yeah.
It's a-
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
on the drinking water side, I think we're pretty good. Obviously, the nitrogen loading is a
Yeah.
problem in terms of, why we had to put the sewers in. So, yeah, that is a problem. But I think in terms of drinking water, we're doing very well. And certainly, we have no indication of PFAS, so
Really?
and that's because we've got the 400-plus acres of watershed, which is very well protected. So as far as the drinking water is concerned,
Yeah.
we are good. All right.
Or water filters.
All right.
Well, I still use water, I still
Before we move
filter.
to
Yes.
the end of the meeting, I do have one other question with the housing, and maybe, it doesn't even have to go backwards necessarily, but for going forward,
Yep.
is identifying rentals, especially year-round rentals.
Yeah, the number.
The number of year-round rentals.
Andrea's
and-
shaking her head.
It's going to be very hard
And
to.
even tracking our affordable housing and attainable housing to the extent we have going forward, because I find it extremely encouraging to hear that the FAIR project has resulted in young families. That was the idea for affordable housing, that's
Yeah.
the goal, and it seems to be working. So isn't that something we want to know? If we
Andrea, you
actually
said
end up
you were
with
shaking
more
your head, though, the other
young
way.
children and families?
There's no rental registration, so it's hard to. You can't really tell if it's a rental or owner occupied. Do you want to?
Well, wait a minute.
For individual houses, but I'm talking about like we're gonna presumably have more like apartment buildings and these, with multifamily housing, I guess is what.
We
it
do
is.
have rental registration. We
No,
just don't
I-
have great statistics on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so going for, I'm thinking, well, let's not worry about the past, let's go forward at least and start capturing that data to see if these initiatives that we think are gonna make housing more affordable and attract young families, is that working? Is that a logical, real connection or not?
Wouldn't we see that, though, in the school data?
Yeah, partly.
Maybe, but you could have
Partly.
young people without kids coming and renting too, right?
Right.
Which would be a
But
win.
And it's
We-
very
we have one of-
dangerous from a housing advocacy, like to start, you want me to tell you who's living at 107 Main Street?
No, no, no.
No.
It is about the kids. It is about.
Yeah, so we
how
would
many
see
is
that in the-
Yeah, but-
Coming in the.
I mean, I lived here I built my house in 2005 and didn't have Marion until 2016. So there's 11 years where I was young, actually, and didn't have kids.
Yeah.
But remember, we also have just expanded the early childhood credit program.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of new businesses, daycare businesses and early childhood education businesses. So our data will be becoming more available and I hope get better on at least identifying, young kids before they get to the schools. We got nothing right now, so that should help.
And in terms of housing, I just want to point everyone to the website. Elizabeth maintains a very, very detailed page on housing, and she produces a monthly housing update that has a lot of data in it. So
How can we figure out, there's got to be a way the town, I get it, it's not there yet, but what we should be working towards is how much of the town is second homes, how much of them are actually, transient, those weekly rentals, and then how much are actually year-round? I mean,
Yeah.
because that's the elephant in the room.
Yes,
Year-round.
exactly.
There it is.
Yeah,
There's a lot of communities capping that.
exactly.
There are a lot of communities saying, we're going to work towards, we're too high, we're going to work towards X. We want, I don't know what that
Well, and we do, again, in that housing report that Elizabeth, we track the short-term rentals using a service. And right now, we have a couple of incentive programs to incentivize people who are using their house for short-term rentals to transfer it over to a year-round rental. So we have incentives available for property owners. So again, with the housing stuff, and I can, obviously, if you want me to, I can invite Elizabeth to come and give you updates on a more regular basis about, what that looks like.
Is it possible to see like a 2025 or 2024 statistic of, like, we're saying ratio of year-round to rental houses to second homes? Is there any data?
I think Andrea wants to say something.
Yeah.
Well, we've just started the first year of rental registration, and it was a blanket, whether you're short-term or long-term. You remember, we're getting that short-term data in from the state back in taxes, but we didn't have anything locally that absolutely identified through our own or liens registration the duration of the rental. And there was no fee involved. We were trying to very gently get this done. As you give us the political clout by asking the questions for data to go ahead and start making those options available when you register. And that's important, but that program is definitely evolving. And we need those numbers. I agree completely.
You want me to make a motion so the economic board asks that question to you?
Well,
guys?
and remember, the other piece in play now is this is coming through our new expanded health department, right? It's Health and Human Services. So we were going to try to capture those rentals and force the registration, because it hasn't been happening, through an inspection program. So that program is just getting underway as of January 1st. I think our data will be much, much better in a year from now.
Yeah.
But it never hurts to have you prioritize capturing that number.
Yeah, and I
don't
think-
know if it's motion.
Yeah, I think that
So you're asking for a motion?
the next conversations will help, will prioritize. And I think when we prioritize or say we're going to prioritize families and family housing, then we can start thinking about what are the policies or the impacts that we want to see or have. And one of them could be a restriction of short-term rentals, right? It could be some kind of a policy around short-term rentals.
And then you put a metric on like where,
The number,
like we talk about Orleans 2050. You know,
Exactly.
Everyone keeps saying that. Well, 2050, we want to have, this is your honey hole, this is your sweet spot. You have X amount here, X amount there, and da-da-da-da.
yeah.
And just remember, as you put the restrictions in place, what are the carrots? What are the things that are going to make, that won't be punitive to people, residents who depend on that on that summer income, to be able to make that switch to year-round? So we need the data and we need the incentives so that we don't hurt ourselves and our residents as we do that.
Yep. Well, I mean, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation,
Yeah.
but we'll just let that sit there for now. And is there any new business, next agenda item? No? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah, motion to adjourn, thank you.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned, thank you.